Okay, here we are. Happy Monday, everybody. This is my virtual classroom. At least it will be until November 12th. So it's not ideal, but it is what it is. So here we go. First thing, Election Day tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in. You guys have the day off, even though nothing's really going to happen during the day tomorrow. That's when millions of Americans are going to be voting. Remember, millions of Americans already have with absentee, with mail-in voting, with early voting. So tomorrow evenings when you want to tune in, pretty much after 8 o'clock is when they're going to be calling states for the two candidates. So of course it's going to start on the East Coast and then it's going to work its way to the West Coast, and I believe California's polls close at 11 p.m. So if it's really close, we're not going to know until then because a few states might be still in a circumstance where it's too close to call. Based on the exit polling. If it is decisive one way or the other, then we will know at 11 o'clock. And the last time that happened was in 2012. President Obama was reelected 11 o'clock after the polls closed in California, and we already knew California was going blue, and that was it. So last time around, 2016, it did not end at 11 o'clock. It was going in the direction of Trump, but he needed, I think it was Pennsylvania, and that wasn't decided until I think it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. So it could be something where the election's decided in the wee hours of the morning. It could also be something where we go into extra innings like days or weeks. Remember, that's happened before, so nothing to panic about if that happens. 2000, the election went till December 12th when it was finally decided, so almost 5 weeks after election day. So that could happen. All right. So we will talk about the results on Wednesday for the Google Meet. I'm sure there's going to be lots to talk about, lots to discuss. So we can kind of hash it out then. Okay. So remember, the Electoral College. You guys are going to see this in real time, and remember the 3 things to know about the Electoral College. We talked about this on Friday's video. So if you didn't get a chance to see that yet, go back and go and watch that. And if you didn't quite catch the end, I can't remember if second or third hour on Friday we didn't quite get to the end. So make sure you go back and if you watch the whole thing for a refresher. But real quick, we'll do it right here. The 3 things. Remember, number 1. Remember the 538. That's the total number of electors in the Electoral College. We get that from the 435 members of the House of Reps, 100 senators, and then 3 electors for the District of Columbia, 538. The second thing to remember is a majority of that is 270, a simple majority. Okay, 270 to win. Okay, whichever candidate gets to 270 is the president. Okay. And then probably the most important feature, and this is the feature that if you remember, it kind of demystifies the Electoral College because it's really not that complicated. Most states, except for Maine and Nebraska, are winner take all. Okay, DC's winner take all as well. So just 2 locations, Maine and Nebraska, don't do the winner take all feature. Okay, so it helps to remember, and I said this is just a review, there's 51 presidential elections on tomorrow, okay? And so Michigan, our vote, our popular vote has nothing to do with all the other states, and their popular vote has nothing to do with ours. They don't cross borders. So our popular vote in Michigan, how we the people vote, determines which candidate gets all 16 electoral votes. Okay, so if Trump gets most of the votes, it doesn't matter if it's by 1 or it's by 500,000. He gets all 16 electoral votes, just like Biden does if he wins just by 1 vote or by 500,000 votes. He gets all 16 electoral votes. It's winner take all. It's cutthroat. Okay, no points for second place. Okay, remember that feature. Now, I think it was on Friday, I asked the attendance question of the day. So I think gold folks, a lot of you didn't see this, but the question was, what happens if there is a tie? What happens if no candidate reaches the 270 mark? And that could happen if it's 269 to 269. A far off possibility, but not impossible. It could also happen if Jo Jorgensen gets a lot of votes and she wins a few states, so she takes electoral votes. and it's close between Trump and Biden, and no candidate gets 270. Well, the answer is it goes to the House of Representatives. The House of Reps decides our next president if no candidate gets the magic number, which is 270. Okay, and that's happened before, twice in our history, but you have to go back to the 1800s to see that. It was basically the third election, the election of 1800. The House of Reps decided that election. That's how Thomas Jefferson got the job the first time. Okay, and remember, when it goes to the House of Representatives, it's 50 states and 1 vote apiece. It's not proportional like California doesn't get more votes because they're the biggest, and like North Dakota doesn't just get less because they're smallest or one of the smallest. It's every state gets 1 vote. It's 50 total votes. So, and that's a simple majority of that determines the next president. So, yeah, that was the answer to Friday's question. Okay, your task today is to begin work on an essay, and your prompt, or what you are going to argue, is for whether or not the Electoral College should be abolished in favor of direct popular vote. Okay, so you guys, this is practice for the 4th free response question on the AP exam, which you guys will be taking May 3rd, and the 4th question on the fourth of the FRQ questions on the AP exam is the argumentative essay. So you have to take a stand on an issue, whatever whatever topic they give you. I just gave you yours for this one, and you have to say yes or no. You have to take a side, and then you have to reason through it and provide evidence and explain. Okay, and so you guys are going to start that today. So you're going to see the instructions. It's going to be through Google Classroom, so they'll be pretty detailed on how you go through it and how you structure it. And so for practice, because this is our first time doing it, I'm going to give you guys some examples. And so in a little bit here, I'm going to switch to a Google Meet format and take you through this through a slideshow. And there's 2 examples I'm going to give you. One is an argument given by this guy. So check out this video.
My name is Andrew Christensen. I live at 1212 Twin Ridge Road. Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to...
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Sure.
come on. I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number 1, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number 2, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number 3, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country that where we stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long, and we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, hold it down, please.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
Okay, that video went viral, and I think it's from earlier this year, and at least that's when I saw it. He actually structured his argument almost exactly how the College Board would want you to structure your argument for your essay. So it was pretty well done and very, very humorous. The other one, I'm going to give you guys another example, and I'm going to take you through like how I would argue how a hot dog is not a sandwich. Okay, so you guys might remember that was from our icebreaker at the beginning of the year, but I will take that prompt and I will argue it based on how the College Board would want me to argue it, or want you to argue it if that was your question. So that's what we're going to do, and then after that, you guys are going to be on your own to get started on this. Of course, if you have any questions, make sure you email me. I am accessible. I'm at home doing this virtual thing instead of there answering questions. Okay, so that's it. Okay, hey everybody. We're gonna go through these essays here, these sample essays. And the first one here is based on, like I said, the guy that was for renaming chicken wings, boneless chicken wings, that is. Okay, so let me bring up his argument here. So this is what you guys are going to see on your prompt. Oops, I went too far here. Okay, so for this individual, Andrew Christensen from Lincoln, Nebraska, I think it was, he said, develop an argument based on his thesis. So develop an argument that explains whether or not boneless chicken wings should be renamed. In your essay, you must make a valid argument or thesis that addresses the question and presents a sound basis of reasoning. Support your argument with at least 2 examples of accurate and relevant information. Okay, and that says use logical arguments to explain why your proofs supports your argument thesis. And then in this essay, and this is something you guys are going to have to do on the AP exam with question number 4 in the FRQ section, you're going to have to respond to an opposing or alternative perspective using refutation, concession, or rebuttal. And I define those at the bottom there. Refutation and rebuttal are kind of the same, like when you refute someone's argument or rebut their argument. You're basically acknowledging what they're saying, and then you're saying, well, your point is better. Concession is you're admitting one of their points, like you're admitting one of the points that they make in their argument is valid, but then you go back and say why you have the better overall argument. Okay, so that's what your task. So you guys your prompt is going to be you're going to make a statement and write an essay on whether or not you think the Electoral College should be abolished and replaced with a direct popular vote. So that's going to be your prompt. But let's see how Andrew here, Andrew Christensen, structured his argument. So first paragraph, thesis statement, or thesis sentence and claim. All you need here is one sentence, okay? You make a claim based on the prompt, so kind of like yes or no to whatever the question is, but then you give reasoning. So you use the word because. That's why I have it highlighted there in red. And this is the most important point. If you don't make a good thesis statement and start your reasoning in your thesis statement, then you are not going to be able to score other points. Okay, this is kind of like your compass. This is your weather vane. This is you're making a statement and using starting your reasoning to show people where you're going. And think of it this way: your thesis statement should be clear enough so that someone could read it, or if you said it, they could hear it and have enough info to agree or disagree. Okay, so you make your statement and then you say because this, that, or the other thing, and then it gives them enough to go on. So remember, you want to give people enough information so they can make a claim back. Okay, so here's Andrew's thesis statement. And what I did here is I put in the word because. So I have it in brackets there and I put in red because using that is important. You don't have to. It's not like the readers of your exam are going to say, where's the word because? It's just very helpful. Remember, I graded this section of the AP exam, the 4th FRQ, the argumentative essay, this past summer for the College Board, and the thesis statement. I can't tell you how many students left that out, or it wasn't very clear, and they lost points. So this is a most important point to make. Okay, so I added because it made it a little bit better. Because we have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal, I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. So that last part, that's where he's making a statement, he's making a claim, and what he wants to do. Okay, and he's going to the rest of his little speech, he tries to persuade us why. Okay, so the second paragraph, this is where you use your first piece of evidence, your description and your reasoning. So describe the evidence and show its relevance to your claim or thesis. Okay, so remember his claim or thesis. He wants to remove the name boneless chicken wings from menus, and then explain. Okay, give examples, elaborate on that. Okay, so and I separated them in blue here so you can see for first point, providing the evidence relevant to the prompt, and then going more specific. So, and he says there are reasons why. Number one, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. And so he makes a statement that he's using obvious evidence, like well, yeah, we'd agree with that. And then he goes on to enhance his argument. He says we would be disgusted if a butcher was misleading their cuts of meats, but then we go around pretending as though the breast of a chicken is its wing. So okay, and then he only needed to make one more or provide one more piece of evidence, his second piece, but he does three, and I'll just include them on the next slide here. So again, we have to describe and explain. So number two, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. Okay. So in the blue right there, he basically says something that's obvious, that's basically anyone could use in the argument, and it's valid. Okay, chicken tenders are already boneless, and pretty much when you get boneless chicken wings, they're chicken tenders. And then number three, we need to raise our children better. Our children are being raised to be afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken and it's delicious. Okay, so same there. Again, he makes a statement and then he goes on to say why we need to raise our children better. And then his fourth paragraph, this is where he responds to you're supposed to respond to an opposing alternative's perspective. And he doesn't really do that. So I would say it's iffy here. But the one good thing he does, he restates his thesis. I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. Okay, he wants rename them. So he's kind of saying we should remove it at first, remove the names boneless chicken wings, and then he gives a solution. So it's kind of like a concession. So he doesn't just say we should remove it and not do anything. So he's kind of offering something here. And I highlighted that in the yellow there. We can call them buffalo style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country where we stand, that we understand we've been living a lie for far too long and we know it in our bones. Okay. So again, that was a fun example. It was not I would say it's not the best essay, and I can't tell you that he would get all the points, but he would do quite well. And I'm sure when he was preparing for that, he wasn't saying, "Oh, I should go by what the College Board would want me to do on like an AP test, AP government test." So, but I took his argument and applied it to how the College Board wants you guys to structure an essay, and he pretty much did it. So usually it's safe to say that is a good way to structure an argument, how he did that. So now I'm going to give you guys more specifics on this one. Okay, I took this argument on and I picked a side, and then I structured it and I followed the instructions of the College Board. So you'll see that I include everything in here. Okay, so the job was to develop an argument that explains whether or not a hot dog is a sandwich. And then you guys know the instructions here. I won't go through those again. So again, in thesis sentence or claim. And oops, I have these backward. My slides are mixed up. But here's my sample thesis statement. Okay, so a hot dog is not a sandwich. Okay, so I make my statement. You guys know where I'm coming from. Okay, I'm picking that side. But remember, in your thesis statement, that's not enough. You should use the word because. And so I do because currently and historically, Americans generally do not accept such a notion. Okay, so and so I'm backing up to this. So my first piece of evidence, so my second paragraph, I'm gonna skip down, and here's how it should look. So I'm providing a piece of evidence. So my piece of evidence is I take a poll that was put out to Americans. In 2016, a nationwide poll put this question to rest. The Harris poll, one of the oldest polling organizations in the United States, asked Americans what they thought after this debate reached its peak on social media in 2015. Okay, so I'm presenting a piece of evidence. Okay, I described my evidence, and now I'm gonna provide specifics for that, like examples. I'm gonna elaborate. So the results of this poll revealed 57% of Americans believe a hot dog is not a sandwich, while only 33% believe that it was. 10% were undecided. Okay, so I put the data out there, and then the last part, you want to explain how or why the evidence supports the thesis statement. So you kind of want to kind of like a tie a ribbon on this and finish it off. And so, and you want to, again, kind of restate your thesis. Always try to restate your thesis. And this is a word, and I've heard people call, like when you use therefore or thus or accordingly, consequently or hence. Those are all alternatives to use there. It's kind of like if you're taking the reader along with you, and when you say therefore, that's where you're kind of that's the punchline, where you're kind of taking all the stuff you just said. I gave a poll, what the poll results were, and then I go back and describe my thesis. These results make it clear that Americans generally do not believe a hot dog to be a sandwich. And if you go back up to my thesis, currently and historically, Americans generally do not accept such a notion, okay, that a hot dog is not a sandwich, okay? So that was the first one. So again, my third paragraph should be my second piece of evidence. And so here I go, and I said, in addition to the valid data, there is widespread social proof that Americans do not accept hot dogs as sandwiches. So my evidence that I'm pulling out now, and I'm saying there's social proof out there, and so there needs to be examples of that. Okay, so here I go with local and chain deli restaurants do not offer a hot dog on their menu of sandwiches. For example, nowhere on the menu at Max and Emily's or Jimmy John's will you find a choice for a hot dog. Furthermore, because hot dogs are as American as apple pie, delicatessens would not forget to add them to the menu if they were truly sandwiches. It is simple. Hot dogs are in a class by themselves. So I gave concrete examples and elaborated on my point that there's social proof everywhere. You go out in society, you go to different restaurants, and hot dogs are not on the menu. We're under the sandwich section. And so and then there's the word I use this time. I go consequently. Okay, so now I'm putting it all together. I'm summarizing my argument and tying it back to my thesis. These societal examples show that Americans generally believe hot dogs not to be sandwiches. Okay, and so again, Americans generally believe hot dogs not to be sandwiches. That was my thesis. Okay, now we're to the last part. Okay, the fourth paragraph. This is where I have to respond to an opposing alternative. Okay, so now see the word I used, admittingly. So I'm admitting something, and I'm conceding a point here. Okay, so, and you guys know this, most people consider a sub from Subway a sandwich, even though most of their subs are served on a partially intact roll, which technically disqualifies them from being a sandwich, according to a definition of sandwich in Webster's dictionary. If subs get a pass for being considered a sandwich, why not hot dogs? Again, the answer goes back to what Americans generally consider a sandwich to be. For generations, Americans have traditionally accepted submarines as sandwiches, but never hot dogs. Okay, so see how I allowed for the Subway is a sandwich argument, but then I twist it around and say, but they've never said that for hot dogs. No one ever has. Okay, accordingly, Subway has honored this tradition, as you will not find a hot dog on their menu either. Therefore, a hot dog can't possibly be a sandwich. Okay, so that is my my second one there for you guys. So you guys are now going to start your own. You're going to have, there's instructions on Google Classroom for this. So you can do this on your phone. And you can, I believe the links are there for you to start reading. Um, I'm probably anticipating a few questions that you guys have. You're probably wondering, well, how long does this essay have to be? Um, remember, it's quality, not quantity. I would say that some of you would be able to write your persuasive essay, your argumentative essay in a page or less. Some of you might take 2 or 3 pages. So remember, the rule of thumb here is just follow the guidelines and make sure you hit all the points that you need to, thesis statement, the two pieces of evidence, and you well argued, and then you do the rebuttal. Okay, and I'll put these PowerPoints online so you can and Google Classroom so you can refer to those if you need to. Just if you need to, make sure you guys use 2 sources. There's 4 articles and 1 documentary that you can watch. That there's 2 of the articles are for the electoral college, 2 are against, and then the documentary Safeguard, which I think was made just this year, is on Amazon Prime. And from the question I gave you guys on the attendance question the other day, last week, I think it was on Thursday, I asked what streaming services you guys have, and most of you guys said, I would say at least 2/3, maybe 3/4 of you said you have Amazon Prime. Well, Safeguard, the documentary, is on Amazon Prime, and it's free. So, and obviously that one is biased towards keeping the Electoral College. But I would recommend watching that one just for a review of everything we've learned. Well, not everything, but a lot of things we've learned from the founding documents, the framers of the Constitution, because it goes over a lot of the stuff that we hit then, and it's just a great review. Because that's the stuff you need to know for the AP exam, and you don't want to let that get too far distant in the past and before remembering it and going over it again. Okay. Remember, you guys are not doing this for busy work. It's not just something to have you do. It's preparing you for the essay, number 1. Number 2, it's taking you guys into a deep dive into a topic that is very relevant right now, because tomorrow we're going to see this in real time being played out. So read the articles, look at the arguments on both sides, and I'd be willing to bet a lot of you know how you feel about this already. And then you'll read the arguments, the 2 sides, and it'll make you even stronger in how you feel. There's going to be some of you that you thought this one way, and then you read more about it, the counter arguments, and now you believe otherwise. And so then that's the position you want to take. That's your thesis, and then back it up, and then there you go. And you're off to the races. Okay, so obviously, ask me any questions. I'm accessible. I'll have my computer on all day. So if you guys have questions about it or anything in general, don't hesitate to email me or contact me through Google Classroom, whatever. So good luck on this. Have fun with it. And the next time we will be talking will be on a Google Meet on Wednesday to talk about the election. So have a good one.